What's up, football fans? If you thought Week 13 was going to be a straightforward game between the Bills and Steelers, think again. We've got Aaron Rodgers making his comeback from injury, Buffalo's offensive line completely decimated, and predictions that got flipped upside down right before kickoff. The Bills just pulled off a 26-7 victory, but the road to get there was absolutely brutal. Stick around because we're breaking down everything that happened: the injuries, the expert predictions, the game-changing plays, and what this all means for both teams moving forward. Let's dive in. First up, let's talk about the big headline heading into this game. Aaron Rodgers was officially cleared to return after missing time with a wrist injury. The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback had fractured his left wrist 2 weeks prior, and there was serious doubt about whether he'd be ready for this Thanksgiving Sunday matchup at Acrisure Stadium. Rodgers got the green light, and the Steelers were hoping his return would spark their offense against a Bills defense that had been inconsistent over the past month. The game kicked off at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, and all eyes were on whether Rodgers could shake off the rust and lead Pittsburgh to a crucial win. But here's where things get interesting. Rodgers' return didn't go as planned. In the first half, the Steelers' defense actually looked phenomenal, holding Josh Allen and the Bills' offense to just 3 points. Pittsburgh came out swinging, and it seemed like Rodgers might pull off a comeback story. However, the second half told a completely different tale, and we'll get to that game-changing moment in just a bit. Now, while the Steelers were celebrating Rodgers' return, the Buffalo Bills were dealing with an absolute disaster on their offensive line. And I'm not exaggerating, this was brutal news for Buffalo heading into a game against one of the most ferocious pass rushes in the NFL. Let's set the stage. In the week prior against the Houston Texans, Josh Allen was sacked a career-high 8 times. That's right, 8 times! The offensive line was completely overwhelmed, and Allen even suffered a right elbow injury on one of those plays. He stayed in the game, but the concern was real. Fast forward to Week 13, and head coach Sean McDermott dropped the hammer. Both starting tackles, Spencer Brown and Dawkins, would not be playing against the Steelers. Spencer Brown was dealing with a shoulder injury that he sustained against the Texans and didn't practice all week. Dawkins was in concussion protocol and didn't clear in time, even with the extended rest from the Sunday game. So who did the Bills turn to? They had to rely on 27-year-old swing tackle Ryan Van DeMark, along with either second-year player Tylen Grable, who was just activated from injured reserve, or rookie Chase Lunt, who hadn't even made his NFL debut yet. Imagine throwing a rookie into the fire against T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. That's like asking someone to swim with sharks on their first day at the beach. To make matters worse, wide receiver Curtis Samuel was placed on injured reserve after suffering an elbow and neck injury, ending his regular season. The Bills responded by signing veteran Gabe Davis from the practice squad, hoping his chemistry with Allen could provide some relief to a passing game that was about to face relentless pressure. With all these injury updates rolling in, the experts had to scramble and update their predictions for this matchup. The data analysts at Dimers ran 10,000 simulations of the Bills vs. Steelers game using advanced algorithms, and here's what they came up with. Despite Buffalo's offensive line being in shambles, the Dimers model gave the Bills a 62% probability of defeating the Steelers at Acrisure Stadium. Their score prediction? Bills winning 24-21. The spread had the Bills as 3-point favorites, even on the road and even with all those injuries. Now, that might seem surprising, but remember, Josh Allen is the reigning NFL MVP, and the Bills' defense had the potential to make plays. Still, asking Allen to operate behind a makeshift offensive line against Pittsburgh's defensive front was a massive gamble. The over-under and moneyline odds were also adjusted based on the latest injury reports, and bettors were split on how this game would unfold. Would Rodgers and the Steelers capitalize on Buffalo's weakened offensive line, or would Allen find a way to overcome the adversity? All right, here's where everything changed. The first half was all about the Steelers' defense. They contained the Bills to just 3 points, and it looked like Pittsburgh might pull off the upset. But in the third quarter, defensive end Joey Bosa made the play that completely shifted the momentum. Bosa came flying in from behind and strip-sacked Aaron Rodgers. The ball popped loose, and cornerback Christian Benford scooped it up and ran it back 17 yards for a touchdown. Just like that, the Bills had their first touchdown of the game and took a 10-7 lead. But wait, it gets even crazier. Rodgers was cradling his injured wrist on the ground and had blood streaming from his nose after the hit. He briefly left the field for medical attention and missed a possession. Backup quarterback Mason Rudolph came in, and Christian Benford took full advantage, picking off one of Rudolph's 3 passes. That strip sack and fumble return for a touchdown was the spark Buffalo needed. The Bills erupted in the second half, scoring 23 points and pulling away to a dominant 26-7 victory. Josh Allen set an NFL record during the game, though he only completed 15 of 23 passes for a modest stat line. Running back James Cook stepped up big time, racking up 177 total yards from scrimmage. Now, while the Bills got the win they desperately needed, it came at a cost. Joey Bosa, the same player who made that game-changing strip sack, went down with a hamstring strain in his right leg during the game. According to injury experts, Bosa's hamstring strain could keep him sidelined for up to 2 weeks, though there's a chance he could return sooner. The Bills announced during the game that his status was questionable to return, and after the victory, they confirmed he'd be evaluated moving forward. Bosa signed a 1-year, $12.6 million contract with Buffalo during the offseason, and he's been a crucial part of their pass rush. Losing him for any amount of time is a blow to a defense that's already dealing with injuries. Starting middle linebacker Terrell Bernard was also ruled out for the game, with veteran Shaq Thompson stepping in to fill the void. Buffalo's next game is scheduled for December 7th against Joe Burrow and the 4-8 Cincinnati Bengals, and Bosa's participation in that matchup remains uncertain. So there you have it, folks. The Buffalo Bills overcame a decimated offensive line, key injuries, and a tough Steelers defense to pull off a 26-7 victory in Week 13. Aaron Rodgers' return didn't go as planned. He got strip-sacked, bloodied, and watched his team fall to 6-6. Meanwhile, Josh Allen and the Bills improved their record and got the momentum they needed heading into the final stretch of the season. With 5 games left on the schedule, including matchups against the Bengals, Patriots, Browns, Eagles, and Jets, the Bills are positioning themselves for a playoff push. But the injury concerns on both sides of the ball are real, and how they manage that will determine their success moving forward. What do you think? Can the Bills keep this momentum going? Will Rodgers and the Steelers bounce back? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more NFL coverage. Catch you in the next one.